What's up guys, SkyKevin here, and today we're going over the spear for New World. We're going to go into each of the skills, its abilities, and fighting styles associated with the weapon. So, let's get started. The spear is hands down my favorite weapon for New World. I've had so much fun using it, and although it's pretty much overshadowed by most of the other weapons in terms of damage and mobility, this has what really matters, a whole lot of stuns. Otherwise, it's not often used, and its range, although good, still doesn't trump that of a battle axe. It doesn't have any benefits to active blocking either, so once the enemy moves in on you and your cooldowns are shot, there really isn't much you can do about it from there. Still, it is such a fun weapon to use. For the mastery tree, you have Zoner and Impaler, aka back off and damage support. Cyclone pushes targets back by 3 meters and slows them for 3 seconds. It restores 25 stamina per hit and is uninterruptible. Javelin throws your spear, knocking the enemy down and dealing additional damage the further they are away, with a 50% reduced cooldown on a headshot. Sweep knocks targets down in front of you, is uninterruptible, and can be followed up with a downward skewer light attack. Perforate attacks 3 times and lowers the target's damage absorption by 10% if they're above 50% HP, and only 5% if they're below. It staggers the target if you land all 3 hits as well. Skewer rushes forward and applies a bleed lasting 15 seconds. The damage is an additional 20% if they're at full HP, and a critical hit will give a damage buff of 20%. Bolt Kick, which damages and stuns the target for 1.5 seconds, gives a damage boost against targets below 50% HP while reducing your other cooldowns by 30%. For ultimates, you have Reserved Strength, which gives you 25% damage when your stamina is full, and Exploited Weakness that gives 10% damage up to a 30% stacking one per debuff on the target. For passives, you have Heavy Attacks reducing all cooldowns by 15%, 10% more damage for consecutive heavy attacks, 20 stamina on a critical hit, 30% stamina regeneration when below 50% stamina, 10% critical chance on targets 3+ meters away, dodging backwards consumes 20% less stamina after a successful hit, 25% damage against a knocked down target, and 15% additional armor for 2 seconds after a heavy attack, 5% critical chance on light attacks, 30% slow on the second light attack if the enemy is under 30% HP, 20% damage against targets with active grit, critical hits extend debuffs by 20%, 15% damage to targets with less than 30% HP, and the first strike after dodging reduces cooldowns by 20%, 15% critical chance against bleeding targets, and all spear cooldowns are reduced by 10% after the second light attack. Generally, when it comes to the spear meta right now, it's pretty much everyone using the Sweep, Vault Kick, and Javelin abilities, since every single one of them has a knockdown. If you're out in the open world and trying to chase an enemy down, having someone with a spear is great because they can basically keep someone perma-stunned in place for around 6 to 10 seconds, depending on if they can combo their abilities. This is invaluable, and so I think a lot of the other skills and abilities are overlooked. However, I think there is something to be said for when you've fully spec'd into it, for keeping bleed on an enemy. If you have someone else using a debuff stacker, this could be the perfect mix of additional bleed and CC to complement them nicely. When it comes to large-scale wars, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have some spearmen, specifically in medium armor builds, that can go into the back line and do a lot of disruption for the enemy healers and ranged units. My favorite part of this weapon though has to be the maneuverability of being able to get into the fight, deal some damage with a big combo, and still manage to stay at a moderate range. Indeed, this is one of the few weapons I think where you can use it, where you can really work on outskilling a player that may have a higher level or just better gear overall, just based off of your movement and comboing abilities. If you're going to choose the spear as your weapon, let me know what kind of builds you're planning to use with it in the comments below. I always make sure I go through and answer everybody's questions. I'm always making more videos like this one on New World and other MMOs, so don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.